Alright, going live. Settings are updating. This video has begun transmitting. I believe tweet has been
Like we're
sent.
on YouTube now.
Yep, and we are live.
Hello and welcome to the TetNet show. For once, it's actually the TetNet show,
Yes.
and we have a very different episode than usual today.
Oh, yes. Changing it
So,
up a little bit, just a tad.
so of course, take everything said in this episode with a grain of salt, and everything in here is opinions.
No, yeah. For the most part, it's pretty much just up. I think my snowball just died. Hang on.
I can still hear you.
Oh yeah, the audio for you is coming through this. The stream audio is Snowball.
Uh,
Oh, it's dead. Oh, give me one moment. I'm just gonna go ahead and the audio is definitely not as good, but I'm gonna let it. I'm just gonna. I'm just gonna share from here for now.
okay, yeah.
Hot fix it later. Anyway, technical difficulties aside, like you said, this is gonna be a tad bit different than our usual TechNet. We're still talking tech, as you've probably seen from the title, and well, yeah, we're not escaping our brand.
Well, we're giving you something different than news today.
Welcome to the opinion piece on the newspaper that is TechNet, the weekly TechNet.
So let's give the scenario here. In a world that Apple finally has the M1, well, they do have it. We don't have to imagine that world. Okay,
Wow, that
let's
was
let's
fast.
let's let's get on to the second part of this. Uh,
In a
in a
world.
world that you can't buy a gaming computer huh? I I guess we also live in that world too. In a world that you can buy them sometimes.
So reality sucks right now if you want to find something gaming related.
Yes. Yes, it does. So, yeah. Um, in this type of world where for some reason or another, or some, I don't know how Apple does this, their supply chain seems to be untouched.
I
I,
smell a conspiracy.
I don't, I honestly don't understand how they do that. I mean, every other manufacturer is having so many problems just getting anything out. And then here's
Yeah.
Apple
I
keeping
haven't heard of
themselves, yeah.
yeah, like I haven't heard a single shortage thing from them.
I mean, I pre-ordered my iPhone 13 like last week, and it came in a week. That sounds about right, right? That sounds normal, right?
Oh yeah, there we go. Snowball's back up. Speaking of, anyway, speaking of sounding normal, but yes, that's Apple has maintained the ways of purchasing tech like the olden days, where you can just pre-order or just go into the store, say, "Hey, I want this iPhone 13," and they're just like, "Okay, here you go."
Speaking of which, uh, I heard that the line on last Friday at Ala Moana was pretty much to the parking lot.
Was it a social distance line? Are
As
we
much as I
hoping
want to
it's a
say
socially distant
yes,
line?
as much as I want to say yes, I have my doubts.
I think right by the door, I think is when they start spreading out. I think it's the moment they they pass like one or two stores and start curving into the parking lot that people start getting a little bit desperate and are willing to get a little bit closer. The good news is that all I want is an outside mall, so all bets are off on that one.
And the other thing is, if you you don't realize which way that the Apple line goes, right? Normally, it goes away from
Is it
Macy's.
Oh.
So do you know how
Oh.
long that line would need to be to get to the parking lot?
Oh yeah, if it's going away from Macy's, that's practically half of all of Moana right there.
So it might have been socially
But
distanced. But
could be
socially
possible.
distanced or not, that's a line.
That is a line. That is quite a line. At the very least, if they're facing like in going into all of Moana, I think there's more shade that way. If they had to wrap around the outside of Macy's, that spot out there is hot. I don't care what season we're in. That spot is hot.
It is.
The sun is ruthless. All you feel is concrete just blaring the sun back into your face. Anyway.
So that being said, I can't confirm it, but I've had multiple people tell me, and I've seen just Instagram stories from multiple people of them waiting in line. It's waiting in line at an Apple Store Instagrammable these days. Is it really?
I guess so. Well, it wouldn't have been Instagrammable earlier today because Facebook and Instagram were done anyway.
That's
but
that's very
yeah,
true.
maybe we're just finding like, like all the ways we can feel like normal again, and one way to feel normal is to like, you know, you're once again standing in line for a new Apple product on like launch. This is was it? I'm assuming this was
It was
launch
launch
week.
day.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Launch day. That Friday. That fateful Friday.
No, yeah. I would story it. Also, I guess a good way to pass the time if you're not doing anything else, like Pokemon Go or like Solitaire or whatever else the youngins do on their phones these days.
But that being said, um the fact that you get that many customers, I mean, I really doubt that. I'm pretty sure a good number of those customers were able to get the iPhone. I'm pretty
Oh yeah.
confident in that.
I
They
feel like
probably
it would
had,
have made at least some headlines or some news talks about the if people weren't able to get their iPhones.
if it turned into like an Nvidia launch, that would make headlines for sure.
Oh yeah. I think if anything turned out like an Nvidia launch, that would you'll find it on a headline somewhere, guarantee.
Yeah. So they must have had a good amount of supply, and I'm pretty sure it's not back ordered at the moment either. So that being said, what kind of black magic are they doing there?
Yeah. I don't know. Were they extra smart in their semiconductor ordering? Do they happen to have some extra strings attached? Is there no semiconductors in the iPhone at all somehow, and it is just running on some form of Apple magic?
Who knows? Only
Who
Apple and
knows?
TSMC knows that answer.
Oh yeah, I can't tell you.
Ah. Well, anyway, that brings us back to the actual topic of this. So, seeing the fact that Apple's the only one that can get supply, I mean, doesn't that already turn them into pretty much a de facto answer?
Doesn't that turn it into a conspiracy theory waiting to happen? I mean, yes, it does. It does create a very, um, yes, it does make them very quickly become a very default option to to fall on if you need an immediate computer
And they're not
or
even
an immediate
bad.
smartphone.
They're not even bad prices. They have amazing battery life.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, for once, Apple looks like a good deal, and
Oh yeah. It's a
that's
solid
weird to
buy.
say. It's
I
weird
have
to say.
heavily considered. I have heavily considered investing into. I feel like the Mac Mini would be the easiest one to go with, but I have debated on actually getting into something a little bit more portable in my life. But that's for later. That's a personal problem thing that I shall deal with off camera.
But yeah, it's weird. Like with a MacBook Air costing just under $1,000. I mean, that's cheaper than most Windows laptops. Well, most high-end Windows laptops.
It's even cheaper than some high-end smartphones.
Please don't remind me. Yes, yes, it is.
Yes. What a world we live in. What a time to be alive. Anyway.
So, are is it possible that this GPU shortage can be used in Apple's favor in order for them to start building a gaming empire? Can I say anything? No?
Hmm?
No? Okay.
Oh, uh, actually, no. Would you like to elaborate on your potentially hot take?
Yeah, so pretty much there's benchmarks for the M1 chip, of course. So it looks like from like what we know about it, what people like say about it performance wise. Let me bring on up a non-tech uh article that I saw. Where are you? For GPU performance. So okay, so going by GPU performance, the M1 MacBook Pro, not MacBook Pro, the M1 Mac Mini gets about the same FPS as a 650X. Okay, that is a relatively old GPU, but it's still punching above its weight class. So in Rise of the Tomb Raider, it gets 73.1 FPS on medium settings at 720p, while a 1650 gets 95 FPS. Same settings. So we're talking. Yes, it is a magnitude of performance less, but you're still talking about gaming computer level of performance here.
No, yeah. You may not be playing on ultra high settings or anything, but at the very least, you're getting really good frame rates at a respectable resolution. I
Oh,
can't
there you
argue with
are.
that.
So 1080p, very high settings in Rise of the Tomb Raider, it's 40 FPS.
Okay. I'd
So,
argue it's still playable. We've lived in the days of 30 FPS. It was a time, and it's 10 frames above that. So I mean, and it's on a MacBook no less, an ARM-powered MacBook no less. I mean,
so going by something like that, it really seems like it has the power, and not just that. Um, because it's actually like M M1 is the same for everyone. You can develop the games more like you would develop it for the consoles. You could develop it, you could test it, run it all the way through, make sure that there's no, weird frame drops in certain areas caused by some weird clash of processor and graphics card. So you could pretty much optimize it, and then you could really just give people a catered experience. I know that a lot of people love to be able to change the graphic settings or whatever, but I mean, this gives you an option that maybe you don't need to. Maybe the game developers can kind of give you multiple game modes, like on a Xbox, like saying, do you want high performance mode or do you want better visuals?
Mm.
Rather than make you kind of run through all the settings instead.
Oh yeah, I could see that. Yeah, target it less as another computer and target it more as another console alternative that happens to have computer functionality, a lot of computer functionality to it.
And it's already more powerful than an Xbox One, so, I mean, yes, I know that the Series X and the Series S is now a thing, but we're talking about last gen. And if you could already give a bit more power than that, they're still developing games for last gen at the moment.
No, yeah.
It hasn't died yet. In actuality, I think that you can actually buy not Series X, Xbox One. I think you
I
can.
think so. I think they're still in existence. At the very least, I'm more than certain the One X should still be like pretty 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 still heavy in development.
Nah, they're
Unfortunate for any of those who get the One X and the Series X confused, but uh, it's I'm assuming it's still very much an option.
maybe they're not selling the Xbox One anymore. Maybe I Wow, they actually completely switched over. Interesting. I never knew that.
They're fully jumping onto the series at this point,
Yeah, well, either way.
full on board.
Either way.
This makes
They're
sense.
still developing games for the Xbox
Yeah,
One, so it's not a dead console yet.
yeah. I've never thought about the. Weirdly enough, I've come more to terms with exclusives coming out for the PS5 than I have for like I guess quote unquote exclusives for the Series X. Considering the fact that I feel like they've been more focusing on making sure that to let you know that you can play games on both the Series X and like on like PC or something through like Game Pass and stuff. I'm like, that's right. At some point they're gonna phase out the one. Never never thought about that.
Yeah, but at the moment it's still kicking, and well, graphics power wise, the M1 looks like it can really do some damage.
Yeah, actually, it's got some good power to it. It's got the tests to back it up. It's got good data.
So,
Good.
do you have an counter or a something to add to that?
Well, obviously, this is well. I know one thing that since we have been talking about this previously, I know one point that we have brought up that kind of kills it in the short one right now is basically right now we still need to wait for games to actually be compatible with
Yeah.
Mac OS and whatnot because even with a lot of the games that they use for like benchmarks and whatnot, which in fairness also does mean that the benchmarks may actually even be more impressive because of it, but a lot of times they do need to still run through an emulator to get there. And I forget which game we were talking about, but I believe there's also another one that was running. It needed to be it needed to create a
Oh.
emulation of Windows
Oh yeah.
inside of the emulation of, and then it needs
So
to emulate the
a
game.
way that you could actually run Windows game on a Mac is that you could virtualize Windows using like some sort of virtualization software like VMware or Parallels.
VirtualBox.
Parallel
Oh yeah,
Parallels does a very good job at that.
oh yeah.
But hey, the fact that you could even run a game like that speaks to something.
It does speak volumes. It is a bit of it is a bit of a headache, especially if you're not into the whole VM setup and all that. But it's possible and it's playable. I'm sure there's some games that might struggle a little bit, but you're looking at a playable option off of a Mac through an emulation, which is both impressive, but it would also be much nicer, as if you know we get a little bit more of that native support there.
You know, they need to have something like Proton on Mac.
Yeah,
I I don't know too much about the program differences of Unix and Linux, but from what I understand, they're pretty similar. So why doesn't Valve just, grab grab their Proton software and chuck it onto the Mac?
yeah. Does Gabe Newell himself have a vendetta against Apple?
Okay, okay, but there's actually one problem with that I just thought of.
Yeah,
Apple doesn't natively support Vulkan.
but isn't but but
But they there is
oh
a
yeah, sorry. There's the metal. Sorry,
yeah.
I got confused.
So there's a translation layer there called molten metal.
Molten metal.
I think
So
I know that's molten. Of course, if I look up molten metal, it's
it gives you actual proper molten metal.
molten. Yes, it's called molten, not molten metal. It's molten.
Oh, okay.
Molten VK, which obviously means Vulkan, but basically it's a translation layer between Vulkan and metal. So it's kind of like, I mean, all I believe that Steam would need to do is bring the base Proton software onto the Mac, and then they need to replace their DX12 to Vulkan translator into a DX12 to Metal translation layer.
No, yeah.
I mean, they
Okay.
already have a translation layer to begin with. I mean, using just a
Yeah.
different one doesn't sound
Yeah. So
awfully different.
theoretically, yeah, you just gotta swap out the translation layers. There's probably there's probably deeper problems somewhere down the line that'll make it an initial headache. I can't name it off the top of my head, but I'm sure there's.
I know that Linux and macOS process things differently. I know
Yeah.
that. I don't mean like commands and stuff. I mean like how the CPU schedules its stuff.
Uh, that that might be an issue.
Yeah. But that sounds more like a fixable, just programming optimization rather than a game breaking thing.
That sounds like a Steam problem and not my problem. Yeah.
So it would probably turn into one of those like, okay, when they release it, it's gonna work. It's just gonna be a bit slower.
No, yeah. So yeah, that's one major route that you gotta wait and see if they'll ever capitalize on. Make the Proton variant for the Mac M1 or the M1 chip or the Apple Silicon chips. I can't just say M1. If they just make it for the M1, then that makes a problem for the future. But yeah.
So there's also the possibility of what if Apple just pays
Excuse me.
developers to develop for the Mac on the Mac App Store? Like completely bypass Steam and be like, so we want it on our App Store, guys.
No,
Please and
yeah.
thank you.
Or like make like something like an Arcade plus the new Steam
Yeah,
just on Apple.
yeah.
I could see that. I
I
wouldn't be
mean,
surprised if that's already something that's heavy in the works.
yeah,
I
because
mean,
Apple has shown interest in gaming as of recently. I mean, Arcade Plus has some really solid stuff on it. So, I mean, the only thing is that they've been away from the gaming ecosystem for so long on their computers,
mhm.
and there's like no one that really wants to develop for it. I think that Apple would need to put some serious money behind it if they want to. I
Yeah,
mean, they did put serious money behind Apple Arcade. I remember that. Remember when we were
yeah.
talking about like years ago how they like invested millions into developers?
I believe so. I think we talked about that at some point during our coffee shop talks both pre TechNet and pre pandemic.
Oh, was it actually pre-TEDnet? Okay. Huh.
I think TechNet wasn't. We're not that. I don't think we passed 1 year yet.
I'm pretty sure that we did this before the pandemic.
Hang on. Let me let me.
I mean, we haven't been doing it for too long, but I'm pretty sure that some of our stuff was pre-pandemic.
Yeah. Let me double check our records. I know IDK Movies was pre-pandemic.
Oh man. Oh, that. I don't know what to say about that one.
Yeah. I don't know if we had anything like if we posted and deleted anything prior to. We might have, but even still, if we're going off the oldest video on the TechNet Show YouTube channel, which by the way, if you do want to check out, I think I have linked on the channel page. I could be wrong. I mean, if that I can actually chuck that up in right after right after I research. But the oldest video that we have on the TechNet, which means that we missed the 1 year anniversary, and that's would be September 6th of 2020.
September. Huh.
Yeah,
Huh.
and that was when
Maybe that was during the
uh
pandemic then.
yeah, and that was when we were discussing the release of the RTX 3000 series. You know, back when there was hope.
Oh man, that's cringe. Never mind. I'm not watching that.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't actually bother to open the thing. Remember when I asked us to like pose for like thumbnails?
And then we
Now we
gave
don't
up.
even make thumbnails. Yeah, because we're live now, and I don't want us
Oh,
to like
live made it
pose
so
for
much
like.
easier. Remember when
Oh
we
yeah,
needed to make so many takes back then?
oh yeah. We yeah. Editing days have been pretty rough, but we're live now, so all the mistakes you get to re-witness over and over again. But you know what? I feel like our flow has gotten better because of it. The pressure's on.
I don't actually
Uh,
feel the pressure anymore.
you get all of our uhs. Truly riveting stuff. Also, we get to talk to you guys like through the chats. And we do interact, I swear. You can actually, I think like 2 or 3 streams ago, you can witness us start our stream completely out of left field because someone wanted to know what our favorite flavors of ice cream was. That
All right.
was a
I
fun
remember
time.
that. I love my potatoes.
Yes. The purple ice cream reigns supreme on here. I'll chuck up the YouTube link on the Twitch chat. So if any of y'all popping in for the Twitch stream, you can check that out. And I also realized that we're also streaming this right now on YouTube. So for those of you who are already watching on YouTube, congratulations, you found the channel. Yay.
So, going back to our original topic, um, it's actually hilarious how bad the old Mac Mini, bad the old Macs were at gaming.
Oh
Would
yeah.
you like to take a guess at how many FPS you got at 720p on the 2018 model of the Mac Mini?
Ooh. Are we still talking Tomb Raider?
Tomb Raider, yep. The one that
Okay.
the M1 gets 73.
Okay. Are we in the 20s?
No.
Higher?
No.
Oh no.
This is 720p, but I'm sorry, not
Are
720p. 1366 by 768.
Oh, it's even in a funky resolution. Okay.
It's
Uh,
I'm pretty sure that's the 16 by 10 ratio of it.
no, yeah. Are we still in double digits?
Yes.
Okay. 12.
Close. 13.6.
13.6 FPS running the
Yes.
10 by 16 version of 720p.
Yes. Medium settings.
Medium settings. Wow, they really have come a long way with the M1, huh?
Yep. Yes, they have.
Dang.
It it was a huge jump. Even with the discrete graphics cards, it's still a huge jump.
Oh, yeah. It really
Still,
did ring true how much people would strongly advise against gaming on a Mac.
oh yeah,
At
it
least
made
back in
sense
the day.
because even like the 2,000 something dollar computer, the 15-inch, the 2017 MacBook Pro 15-inch only got 54.
Uh, so we're talking playable, but we're nowhere near the levels.
Yeah,
We're
but
talking
for a
playable on
$2,000
DDM7.
computer,
That is true. At that point, you're already looking at the same price as like mid-spec gaming computers.
well, yeah. I mean, honestly, you could build something for about $1,000 and buy yourself like a regular laptop for another $1,000, and you get a better gaming um
That's true.
experience and a better
Back in
laptop experience too.
No, yeah,
Because
that's so
if
true.
you went gaming computer, then I mean, gaming laptop, that's a huge break,
No, yeah,
and it still costs about $2,000.
that is true. That is very true.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're still looking back in the days of 2017 where I think you could. The good news is you can still find
Wait,
graphics
was
cards.
2017 like that weird time when you can't buy graphics cards?
I think. I think it wasn't as I
No, I mean the
remember
Bitcoin
correctly. It wasn't as
craze.
was it?
The
Yeah,
Bitcoin craze.
it wasn't because of the whole shortage thing that's now. But yeah, I think 2017 was around the Bitcoin. I think you could still yeah, like find it in
No,
like
you can't.
retail stuff like that. Oh,
No, you can't. Uh,
is that why we were complaining about like higher prices because you can only find them through like third party like resellers, or what? You just
no,
couldn't find it
I
at
I
all.
don't think that around. Yeah, you could only find it at third-party resellers, and I don't believe that there were as many like stock trackers back then, so it was more difficult to find.
No, yeah. So you're just kind of screwed
Yeah.
until yeah retails could actually start stocking up again. So I guess in that case we really are living in the good old age of 2017. Hey,
So yeah, I
or
mean it.
2017, 2018.
it was a huge. This is a huge jump in performance, and
No, yeah.
yeah, I mean, seeing the fact that this is a first generation product, most first generation products have a huge performance uplift in the second generation. I'm not going to say that that's the rule, but traditionally, if you have a first generation product, you normally expect about a 2 times performance increase for Gen 2.
No, yeah.
So, I
Usually
mean,
about the
that's
time.
after all the bugs are kinked out, all you find what what's wrong with them. You
No,
need to
yeah.
make like all the major improvements because despite how good the M1 is, I'm sure that Apple has found flaws in the design. I'm sure of
Oh yeah.
it.
There is no system that is without flaw. And I'm sure they were monitoring carefully to see, yeah, like you were saying, like what works, what doesn't, what do we need to focus on more, how much more of this kind of core do we need, how much less of this core do we need, like yeah, like what bugs are we facing, what kind of vulnerabilities are we looking at, and I'm sure a lot of it will be a good amount should be addressed by the time at least
A-
Gen 2 comes out.
And with a chip that uses only 17 watts of power total, like that includes CPU, GPU, and DRAM,
Mhm.
like all of it. Um, yeah, you you have a lot more to play with, like thermal wise.
No, yeah, the sky's the limit. Can push it a little bit harder.
I mean, seeing the fact that like regular CPUs usually take about like how many? Like 35 watts in laptops, I think. Just the
No, yeah, I think
CPU
it's roughly
without
about.
graphics card.
Yeah, I think it's usually about the mid 30s.
And the graphics card you can get all the way up to like 70 or 80 watts on them.
No, yeah, graphics cards do be hungry.
I mean, looking at those numbers, you can push this. You can put in a few more cores without the thermal system really caring
No,
at
yeah.
all about this.
Oh, yeah. Guarantee. You can actually put the fan to work.
There's a
You can
fan.
make
I'm
it do
kidding.
something.
I'm kidding. I remember
Weirdly
in
enough, it does
Linus's
depend on
review
the
of the
laptop.
M1 chip with the Mac Mini. He was like, I think it was Anthony that said, I can't get the fan to turn on.
Stress test it all you want, but the fan doesn't want to turn on.
I'm assuming that the fan's there in case you're not in the AC room.
Hmm.
Like
You're
if you
not in a
live
well.
somewhere like here.
Oh, yeah. And it's just hot.
Yeah.
If you're for some reason standing, if you're some reason decide to take your MacBook and wait in that line at the Apple store, but they decide to wrap around Macy's and you happen to be standing there in the hot sun,
Oh.
for some reason you want to bring out your laptop, I can guarantee you that fan's gonna run.
Yeah.
That
So
fan, yeah, that
yeah,
fan's gonna be put to work against that sun.
I'm assuming that the fans are just in case of environmental issues rather than the CPU.
Uh, or you can risk it all and go full on fanless with the ironic air.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a really good one. But yeah, I mean, 16 watts is nothing. That's
Oh yeah.
that's pretty much a light bulb.
No, yeah. Guarantee we can find light bulbs that require higher wattage than that.
Well, obviously because we use these 100 watt light bulbs.
Can't see jack, but I mean.
Remember those old halogens?
Oh yes.
I'm pretty sure that the regular light bulbs use 13 watts, so
I think so.
I'm pretty sure. So think
Yeah.
about it like this. Do you want to power your light bulb or do you want to power your Mac? Do you know how crazy that sounds?
Yeah. Also sounds like a very wild situation, and I feel like there's a lot of factors in play that you should probably address first before you get before you get to the point where you have to decide between powering your lamp or powering your MacBook.
Hey, if a country falls into anarchy, you're gonna be happy you bought yourself an M1 Mac.
I guess technically, if like I need to like bash people away, I feel like I get more power with the M1 Mac than I do with
Oh
the
wow.
lamp. I guess it depends on the lamp too. Anyway, sorry. But I mean, I don't have internet. What am I gonna say?
You need to hack into like those facilities, right, in order to gain supplies. Isn't that a thing? No? Okay.
I think so. But I'm glad I have the computer for it, but I don't have hack. I don't. I wasn't
You don't
prepared
know how
for
to do it.
this.
You can't Google it anymore.
No, yeah. I can't just. It's like, oh shoot, an uprising has started. Pops into Google while still have internet. How does one hack into something? Uh, the sites are probably gonna be busy though, considering anarchy's in the middle. We're in
Oh
the middle
yeah.
of an anarchy. Sorry. Anyway,
Anyway.
anarchy aside, yeah, power differences between a MacBook and your lamp and your desk lamp. The fact that you can do like an either or thing, that is wild. It's very wild.
And of course, you know, that's 16 watts when you're running benchmarks. I'm assuming that idle is significantly lower.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that that's pretty impressive. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential in that the Apple Silicon. Still don't know
Oh,
how they're able to produce that though, considering the shortages. But they
yeah,
found a way.
they found a way. So, I really do believe that if they can address the developer problem, I think that gaming on a Mac can happen, and I think it'll be very effective.
Yeah, the platform is there. It's just a matter of whether do they follow the golden rule of if you build it, they will come kind of thing.
At the same time, Macs are becoming more and more prevalent in the world. Like they're appearing everywhere, and for once they're good values. So I think that it's going to appeal to even more people. You need to be very very stubborn to choose certain laptops over a MacBook Air at the moment. You need to be
uh,
like one of our friends.
no, yeah, I was about to say like that. That's definitely not beyond the realm of possibility, considering we're aware of said people.
Yes. Although I did say that I have a friend in that I had a friend from high school that was a hardcore Windows user that is a convert to Mac.
Okay, but in his defense, I don't even really think he needs defending. But in his defense, because I don't know how else to phrase it, he technically switched over because there's no other way to develop for the Apple space without a Mac.
But he still switched, and that's what matters. But he still switched.
I guess so.
No matter what the reason is, he daily drives a MacBook.
Let the record show it may or may not have been by choice. I guess he technically did choose to develop for Apple products. I would probably not advise going against said choice, but
And
especially
Apple
if you're
just
going
makes it
into
difficult to code for a Mac and iOS on non-Apple
Mac
devices.
or an Apple. Yeah, an Apple. Yeah,
I mean, it's
they
not
keep that thing
impossible.
locked down. Yeah.
It's not impossible. You can use Electron,
Electron.
but who wants to use Electron?
True. I don't even know what that is. Oh, I
You know
believe
what
we've talked
Electron
about.
is.
Was it?
Electron's pretty much just a container for Chrome.
Ah, that's hilarious.
That's what Discord is built on. That's what Teams is built on. That's what Spotify is built on. They're literally just web pages running in an application form.
Oh, I see.
The problem is with them is that they can't really take advantage of the hardware as well, and they are known to be a bit inefficient.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Are we understating that?
it's Chrome. I don't know what else I could
So
say
yeah,
about that. It's
it's Chrome.
it's just a bit inefficient.
Never
What
on
other
Chrome.
what other browser are you gonna base it off of? I don't think that anything else is actually open source. Well, it's okay. I don't know how. I know that Mozilla Firefox's license is weird, and I don't
Yeah.
understand it.
I feel like that's the general vibe I get about Mozilla in general. Their
Yeah,
licensing is weird, and I don't understand anything that they do.
Chromium's
But they
licensing is
have
pretty much.
Rust.
That's true. Chromium's pretty much like, yeah, you just do whatever you want with it. Just go,
Yeah.
just go.
Go
It's fine.
forth. You get the full power of Chromium. We get RAM. Fair exchange.
I've heard that Chromium's gotten a lot more efficient lately, though.
They're working on it. They're
Yeah,
tired of the meme.
but yeah, I mean, okay, so you can use Electron, and I'm sure that there's a few other programming methods, but still, it's not a good experience. You can't. Xcode is a good IDE.
Yeah. I don't know why. I mean, I've heard great things about it. I can't speak from experience because, I haven't dove into the Mac life. I've dove
Mm.
into everything else Apple, just not the Mac.
That's what I believe sets Android and Apple apart. Android, you use the IDE because you need to. You use Xcode because you want to,
And because
oh
I guess you
yeah,
technically do.
and because both of them you use it because you need to.
Yeah, but one's just a lot more pleasant than the other.
Yes. I don't know if like Android Studio's gotten better though, so I might not be saying great things. But I know when the last time I used it, like about 5 or 6 years ago, it was awful.
Yeah. I remember using it for class ones back in my old college days, and I mean, granted, I'm working on it using a tiny little. Was that 13 inch? I can't remember if my Dell XPS was 12, like 13 inch or
It was
15 inch.
13.
I think it was there, yeah. So it was already tough enough with any idea on that kind of screen. But for some reason or another, all I remember is that the font from the thing is nightmarishly small. And
And
yeah,
for
like
some reason or
navigating
another,
around.
I had stability issues.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but mine crashed a few times.
A friendly reminder that I'm running out my Dell XPS. Everything has stability issues.
Okay. Okay.
Maybe that's why I have a difficult I think my frame of mind for like what looks like stable or not is a little bit different because I've never really feel like everything that I've had always had like some kind of like major problem. I just kind of had to like shrug off and just kind of keep working at it.
Has your iPhone had major problems?
Well, probably the biggest one and that can probably be solved by an uninstall and reinstall is the fact that I don't get notifications from Gmail.
Okay,
Also, I
I
occasionally
forgot you
miss.
mentioning that one. I get
I'm
too many
hoping.
notifications from Gmail.
Yeah. So I miss many I miss a good amount, or I had to make some last minute replies to some fairly important schedules through that occur through mail. But yeah. Otherwise sometimes I notice that it doesn't wanna I can't tell if it doesn't want to play my alarm or if I'm just really good at unconsciously turning off my alarm.
I've
But
come
I
to the
find that I've
conclusion
always
that I'm
had that
very
problem.
good at turning off my alarm unconsciously. I don't even know how. The
Oh, yeah.
only thing that I haven't gotten good at turning off the alarm is my Google Home.
Oh, yeah.
I'm assuming that's because you actually have to say the words. And you can't say the words properly when you're half asleep.
Yeah. You hear that? It was like, oh yeah, yeah, it's just time to say. Like, hang on, I gotta, you gotta regain your consciousness, get the words back, and you're just like, and turn off the dang alarm.
I don't know why, but even when I'm awake and saying it, for some reason or another, the voice detection when it's playing the alarm specifically isn't that great. Well, it makes sense. It's making a lot of noise.
No, yeah.
So you really need to say it.
It's drowning itself out.
It's a
I'm sorry,
feature.
I can't, I can't hear you over this alarm that I'm blaring.
It's a feature. It forces you to wake up.
I'll give it that. It's extra annoying, but it the extra annoyance gets the job done. I can't help but respect that.
Oh.
I would do that. I would opt for that option, but there's like, what is it like? These walls aren't exactly the thickest, and I'm still living with like, like two other people. So I was like, I don't know if my annoyance from that alarm is gonna be annoyance to them, and if I can't turn it off, then it's just a hassle for everyone. I wonder about that sometimes.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it is. Um, I'm pretty confident that you're just really good at turning off that alarm, Jared.
Most likely. I mean, it is, even if it is like a problem of missing alarms, like on the phone side, it's technically not something that's purely on this iPhone. It is something that I still experience when I've been rocking this ancient relic of an S8. So I've been just really good at unconsciously turning off alarms since probably well into my high school days, probably middle, probably.
Oh, you know those like phone apps that force you to do a puzzle before it turns off the alarm?
Oh, I would. I don't think I ever want to tread into that. I'm gonna wake up with a headache all day, like every single time, because I need to like quick start my brain into high gear on that one.
I mean, they're not difficult puzzles, but it takes just enough thought for you
Yeah,
not to be able to do it unconsciously.
I need to properly like wake up for it. If I were to like suddenly open it up and try and play the puzzle right now, yeah, I'm sure it's like, oh, this is perfectly fine. I'll do it. But yeah, my mind is nowhere near. Is probably like 2% of the usual wake capacity. So what's trivial now is probably like the worst thing imaginable. The like millisecond I wake up.
Yeah. What were we even talking about? How did we get here? Oh yeah,
Oh, we're
mentioning do
talking
you have
about.
any problems? We were talking
Oh
about
yeah. So
IDs.
oh yeah. Yeah, we were talking about like issues with IDs and
Converts.
yeah, we were talking about why your friend has converted
Yeah.
to uh, the MacBook, and I like to put the asterisk that's technically not by choice. But I
But it
guess if he seems
happened.
okay with it and
It
he's
happened.
happy with it, I mean, all power.
Yeah. So there's just one more friend, one more convert.
No, yeah, that one's gonna take a while, considering the fact that it's already been a struggle to get him off a phone that not even the manufacturers supported. This one's probably gonna take quite a while longer.
Yeah. I have
Yeah.
hope. He can still be saved.
I shall cheer on from the sidelines.
Yeah.
Just let technical nature do its thing.
Okay, but for real though, I have always thought that an Apple laptop is a superior product. I'm not gonna talk about desktops, but the laptops in the past were just better because of the trackpad.
Oh, that trackpad. Oh, oh,
There's just no alternative.
it's so good. I don't know why I'm saying that, even though I've never owned a MacBook, but I've messed with it in an Apple store. It's good. It's nice.
Yeah. And now they fixed the issue with the keyboard. Like in the past, Apple has had some of the best keyboards on the laptop. And once again, now that they've gone back to their old keyboard, is one of the best keyboards on a laptop.
Yeah. It kind of pose the question of why do we not fix things when they're not broken? And then that happened, and they're like, oh, I
Why
see
do
why,
we
and
have
then
a
they
Johnny
reverted.
Ive?
Why do we have a Johnny Ives? How dare you utter those words? How dare you question the brilliant voice of Johnny Ives?
Okay, he was great at design. However, what I've heard about him is that he was always the type of person that always, without fail, put design over function every single time. To
uh,
the point that Steve Jobs needed to back him off of some designs.
eh, okay, yeah, I cannot back that ideology. I need at least some form of functionality to my stuff.
It's like one of those, it's beautiful, but does it work?
Can I actually use it? If you have to think about that, I'd probably go back to the drawing board. I
And
don't want
that's
to
where the
hear
butterfly
any, well,
keyboard came
technically.
from.
No, yeah. Design over functionality.
I mean, it was a pretty keyboard.
No, yeah.
It was. I really liked the flat design. But from an ergonomic and obviously a actual durability standpoint, they were
It had some problems.
yeah, just a few.
Yeah, just a tad. But they switched back, so yay.
You know something that I really wish they would change? The mouse.
Ah, the mouse. They will die on that hill or whatever the heck you call that shape for that mouse.
You know, I don't care about MagSafe all too much, as I said before. I don't care about it as a charging standard. But if you could put MagSafe on that dumb mouse, please, I'll be incredibly happy.
That would be cool. Rather than like it still has a charging option, I'm assuming, instead of having to like flip it over like a dead cockroach and then like stabbing it with the stabbing it with the charging port.
Yeah, pretty much.
That is genuinely the wildest thing. I don't know how that happened.
Johnny Ive.
Johnny
That's that's all I have to say. I don't know why. I can imagine seeing him say, I don't like the look of putting a port out in front. So let's put it on the bottom.
Let's put it underneath.
I
I
can
don't
see him
know if it...
I could see him saying that. I really can.
yeah.
And then all
But
the
what
execs
if
at
it
Apple are probably like, you know what? This is so small. I don't care about it. That's
I'm sure no one's going to harp onto that. Who's gonna want to charge their mouse and use it at the same time? Or at the very least make it still maintain its same its same position while it's charging. I'm sure they won't mind.
this is a reason why I believe that the old AA battery mouse is superior.
I mean, sure, it demands new batteries, but at the very least, it doesn't have to go dead cockroach mode. And that's something I can 100% stand by.
Okay, but anything is better than the old Apple wired mouse. That thing was god awful.
Oh, just wasn't happening.
I mean, the ergonomics wasn't bad. The issue is that stupid ball scroller thing always ended up dying eventually.
Yeah.
Do you know how many of those things I have in my workplace? It does not scroll anymore. Or they scroll in
I
one direction.
I can I can imagine there's a whole. I'm assuming there's an ever growing, maybe a box, maybe a shelf of those, like a proper mouse Apple wired mouse graveyard that's just compiling somewhere in a corner.
No, no, there isn't. We have a mouse shortage.
Oh, oh, they've been zombified.
Oh yes. Why do you think that I said that they don't scroll? Because I use them on a regular basis.
uh,
Arrow keys.
arrow keys. Arrow keys are a godsend.
Speaking of which, there's also a keyboard that doesn't have that the W key doesn't work.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah.
I mean, how often do you really need to press W anyway?
If you type anyway.
Uh, also, how?
Yeah, that's true. That too. That too. Yeah.
I was thinking like, oh, it'd be really unfortunate if you couldn't check out any of our channels that I'm like, well, Voyaging Chair doesn't have, Quickstart doesn't have. Like, oh shoot, you're one letter away from getting the TechNet show. You're so close.
I'm pretty sure if you just look up TechNet show, that's HO.
Yeah,
See, it still
theoretically.
pops up. It still pops up. We're golden. We're good.
Yeah, we're fine. See, you don't need the W key. You can still find TechNet show. That's all that matters. Uh, but
Oh, and do
anyway,
you know what
very.
else is annoying about the Apple computers?
What's up?
Unlike Windows, they don't have on-screen keyboards.
Ah,
I I unfortunately figured that out.
that I can only imagine the very unfortunate circumstance that will require you to try and find an on-screen keyboard.
I was actually hoping that there was an on-screen keyboard so I could use the keyboard for everything and then just type letter W.
But no, figured why would we ever need an on-screen keyboard when they don't need to touch anything?
Well, I mean, like Windows 7 had on-screen keyboards.
Oh, that's true.
I'm pretty sure Vista also had. Did XP have?
I don't know. This is also admittedly the first time I'm hearing that 7 and Vista had on-screen, so I can't help you if Windows
Oh
XP
no.
have DOS, have
Oh
Wi-Fi.
no. Oh, that hurts me on the inside.
Did you find it?
I found it.
So I'm guessing it had it.
You should look it up. That's all I have to say. You should look it up.
Windows XP
98?
on-screen keyboard.
Yes.
Ooh, that is 100% XP. Look at that. Hey, I have a display screen for that. Look at that. Look at that. That just screams. That has the XP design written all over it. It's
No.
terrible but beautiful at the same time.
You can see why I made that reaction.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, they've had it for a while. Oh my gosh, it's a fish background.
It's a fish.
The fish background.
Oh,
The Windows
traditional
XP fish background. Fish wallpaper.
Fish wallpaper. Oh yeah, I remember.
The one with like the orange fishes.
Yeah. I forgot about that one.
I forgot about that too.
Honestly,
well.
the only thing that ever comes to mind when I think Windows XP desktop background is the infamous Green Hills.
Oh, yeah, that one. Green Hills, but at the same time, this was a very nice background.
It was. Felt like a simpler time. At least 11 kind of has some interestingly fancy abstract backgrounds going for it, I guess. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. I forgot. They used to make Microsoft Windows Plus.
Microsoft Windows Plus. Man, this was a different time.
Anyway. Well, now that we're getting so off topic, maybe this is time for us to end this show. So, yeah. Thank you all for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed it, and we will see you guys soon in Kickstart Gaming.
Oh, we're still going for it?
It's only 11:45.
Check us out. Quick Start Gaming. I believe we're running No Man's Sky. Haven't done that in kind of a while, so that's kind of nice. Or,
Yeah.
no, I think it was last week. I think we did it last week.
Yep. So we will talk to you soon. Bye for now.